We're going to be talking about two things in this video. And the first thing we'll talk about is it possible for you to sign up an account on Outlier, Handshake, or any of these AI platforms using proxies, remote desktop applications, or RDPs? Is it really possible for you to do that from a country that is not eligible? This is because a lot of people have reached out to me that they want to sign up on these platforms, but they are not in a country that is eligible. Take, for instance, if you're in Ghana, if you're in Nigeria, you cannot sign up on these platforms. But people have come up with these methods, and there's currently rumors on the internet space. So we're going to be addressing this. Why the second thing we'll talk about in this video is between proxies, RDPs, and remote desktop application, which is the best method for you to use in accessing these AI platforms. And the reason for this is this: a lot of people were in a country that was eligible for this platform. Take, for instance, if you're in US, you can sign up on any of these platforms. But for whatever reason, you now moved out of that country to a country that is not eligible, and you still want to access your account. A lot of people that have tried to do it, they end up not being able to access their account, and even those that logged in successfully, their account was banned. This is why they now resort to using methods like proxies, VPNs, RDPs, and a whole lot of these other methods that you're going to see on the internet space. So which method is really the best? We'll talk about that. And there are also some other sets of individuals that were not even in an eligible country, but probably they have their relatives or friends or whatever in a country that was eligible, and then the person signed up an account for them, and then the person needs them to be managing it from a country that is not eligible, and then they need to use all of these methods and blah blah blah. We are going to be talking about that in this video. But before we proceed, if you're new to this channel, take a moment of your time to subscribe, turn on that bell icon so you get notifications whenever I upload a new video just like this one. And for those of you that have been here and you're here again, congratulations to you guys. You guys are the real MVPs. Don't forget to search for toniostech on X. Follow me there. I drop a lot of my updates there, even before I make videos on them. Now that we have that out of the way, let's now proceed to our main topic of discussion. And I'm going to be starting from the last. There is the option of proxies, there is the option of remote desktop applications, and there is the option of RDPs. So what exactly are these three different methods, and how are people using it? The first one is proxy. Proxy is similar to VPN, but it's different. Now notice how I did not include VPN in this list. The reason is because if you use VPN for this platform, your account is going to get banned. It does not matter if your VPN is paid, if you have the maximum subscription or whatsoever. If you use it for these platforms, you're still going to get banned. This is why I did not talk about it. But proxies work similar to VPN. And what does proxy do? Proxy is simply a platform, or let's say residential proxy, because whenever you're looking for a proxy, look for a residential proxy. So residential proxies, what they basically do is they assign an IP to you from the country you're trying to access. I know that might sound confusing, but this is how it is. Anytime you use your mobile device or use a computer or any device at all to access the internet, that device has an IP address. That is how the internet gets to know that, okay, it is this phone that is accessing it. It is coming from this location. It is coming from here. These are the details and whatever. All your device at all has it. This is why whenever you're in a country that is not eligible and you try to access these platforms with your phone, automatically you will not be able to do so because you are in an eligible country. So what residential proxies basically do is they go to a country that is eligible. Take, for instance, US is a country that's eligible for most of these platforms. There are a lot of residents there, and there are a lot of residents that have computers, and these computers have IPs. So they take IPs of real residents there and assign it to you. So whenever you go on the proxy platform and you sign up on the proxy platform and set everything up and you try to use it to browse, instead of your main IP being sent to this platform, it is the IP of that resident in whatever country that you use it for that is going to be shown on this platform. So it is now successfully going to tell this platform that, okay, this computer is coming from this location, even though it is not. Setting up a proxy can be a little bit complicated and technical, especially if you don't set it up well. You might use a proxy and still end up getting your account banned. This is why I've reviewed a proxy that I highly recommend for you to use for these platforms, and I've also shown you guys how to set it up. In case you want that video, you can check the top of your screen there. I'll have pinned the video there so you can go through it and see the setup method. The advantage of using proxy is that wherever you go, you can still log in your account without it getting flagged or getting banned, because your location is still going to be showing that you were in the original location where you signed up the account, or in the original location where it is eligible. That is the advantage of using proxy. Let's now go to the next one on our list, which is remote desktop applications. Now, this is how remote desktop application works. Let's say you have a computer in your office, but you've left your office, but there are some important files or important documents or important things that you need to do on that your computer, but you've already left your office and you're in your home. You can now pick your phone or pick your computer that is in your house, connect it to that one that is in your office, and then operate it from your home. This is simply what remote desktop application does. So there are some special applications that allows you to do this. Even if your computer is in whatever country at all you basically have to do is to use these platforms, connect your computer to the internet, and then grant it access from wherever you are. So that basically means that I can be in my home right now and I can still be operating my computer from wherever it is. This method is useful and this method is highly recommended. In fact, it is the one I recommend most. It is the most stressful, but it's the most secure. And this is why. Let's say you were in a country that was eligible for these platforms. You sign up on the platform already. You now move to another country that is not eligible. All you basically have to do is, maybe if someone is there, you tell the person to install this application on the system, or if you've previously installed it on your system, you leave it in that location. Then you come to your new location, connect this your system to that your system that is there, and then use it for this platform. This method is very safe. In fact, I made a full tutorial video on what this is. You can still check the top of your screen. I'll have still pinned that video there. With this method, you don't need to do any extra thing. Even if you're controlling that your computer to access this platform, it's still going to be showing the location of that your original computer that is in a country that is eligible. So it's as simple and straightforward. Where this one can get complicated a bit is that you will need that your computer to always be on anytime you want to access it. You need it to be connected to the internet. If it's not connected to the internet, you will not be able to access it. And then maybe if the computer is not even your own and someone is accessing it there, or the mobile device, because it also works off phone. So the person is doing something on it there. Of course, you know that you'll not be able to use it at that time, because everything you're going to be doing on your screen is going to be showing on that person's screen also. So it can be a bit complicated, but it's the method that is highly recommended. Like I said, you can check the top of your screen. You're going to get a full tutorial video on how to go about that. This is now going to bring us to the last on our list, which is RDPs. RDP stands for Remote Desktop Protocol. And this is how it works. It basically means you don't have a computer, you borrow another computer. It is just like me coming to you. Let's say, for instance, I want to access something online, and this platform can only be accessed by a desktop or a laptop. But what I have is a mobile device. So I come to you that have a laptop, I pay you money, and then you rent this your laptop to me, and I use it for whatever duration I want to use. But where it gets interesting with RDP is that this time around, it is not physical. Everything is happening over the cloud. There are some companies right now that have decided to rent out their systems, rent out their computers to people over the cloud. So you could be in your house right now and you want to access a high-end Windows PC, but you don't have money to purchase it. You could just go on these platforms that are willing to rent it to you. You pay them $30, maybe $10, $30, whatever amount that they set on the platform, and then they rent it to you for a specific duration of time. But like I said, all of this thing is going to be on cloud. It is going to be on the internet. So the computer is not going to be coming to your house physically, but you still be able to access this computer using your own PC that is in your house that probably might not be up to that standard, or even using your mobile device. Where it gets interesting for this platform is that you look for an RDP provider that is in a country where these platforms are eligible. For instance, like I said, a lot of these AI platforms are eligible for residents in US. So you look for an RDP provider in US. Maybe you're in a country that is not eligible. You go on this platform, rent a computer there. So whenever you rent a computer there, you'll be able to access this computer from your mobile device or from your own computer in your own house. You can use it to browse or do anything. But it is not your IP that is going to be showing. It is going to be showing the IP of that computer that is in that country. This might sound a little bit technical, but trust me, it's easy. And this is why I've also made a full tutorial video explaining this step by step. You can still check the top of your screen, or you can check the description box of this video. I'll have dropped links to all of the videos that I've talked about, so that in case you want to take your time to go through it, you can go through it. RDP can be helpful in a lot of ways. Aside from all of these AI platforms that you might probably want to use it for, people like programmers, let's say you're trying to build a website, or you're trying to access a platform, or you're trying to do some large video editing on some applications that currently cannot work on your PC, you can rent this high-end PC and then control it from your end with just your minor PC that probably might not be up to the standard. You can do a whole lot of things. In fact, I talked about these things in my video, so you can go through it. And that is basically that about that. So these are basically the three methods that people are currently using to safely access these platforms. You can now go through them and pick the one that best suits you. But like I said, I personally recommend the use of remote desktop applications. It is the safest, even though it can be stressful. And for the question that is currently on your mind right now, can you sign up on these platforms from a country that is not eligible? Let me answer that. If you use any of these methods, you'll be able to access these platforms quite alright. Even in my videos that I made on using proxies, when I was setting up my proxy, after setting up my proxy, I went to Outlier platform. I already tried to access it from my country, which is not eligible. And you also saw it in that video that I was blocked out. So when I now set up my proxy, I was able to use it to successfully access Outlier platform, and they open the site to me. If I wanted to sign up, it's easy. But this is where it gets complicated. Aside from just signing up on these platforms, they are still going to ask you to do verifications. And when you want to do that your verification, they'll ask for your government approved ID. So imagine you're in a country like Ghana that is not eligible for this country. You now successfully sign up on it, and then they now ask you for your ID. Of course, if you go and provide them your Ghanaian ID, automatically you are going to get banned. They even ask you for face recording, video, whatever. So if you provide all of those things and then they check you and they see that you're not really their client, automatically your account is going to get banned. In as much as you can use these methods to access this account, you can still not use it to create an account, because creating an account is the easiest thing. It is not difficult at all. What is difficult is your verification, because of course you cannot fake your identity. So that basically means that if you're trying to access these platforms and you're not in a country that is eligible, you still need a real resident of that country or someone that has an approved ID of that country to sign up the account for you and then probably delegate it to you. Or it can be useful for you that already have an account and then maybe you move to a location that is not eligible. Then this method can be suitable for you. So that is basically that about that. I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, let me know in the comment section of this video. And in case you might probably have something in mind or you want me to talk about something, you can also recommend them. I'll be in the comment section of this video responding to you guys. For those of you that want to be part of my community, I currently have a Telegram channel and we're currently at 5K. I also have a WhatsApp channel and a WhatsApp group. You can join any of these to stay in touch for updates. But there's something people do a lot of the times that I don't like, and that is coming to my DM to ask questions. Not that I don't want to respond to you guys, but one, if you come to my DM to ask questions are going to be choked in my DM and I'll really not have time to respond. Secondly, I prefer you drop the questions in the comment section of the video, because most of the questions people come to ask me are repeated questions. So I like it when if you ask a question, I give you an answer in the comment section, so that other people that might probably have the same question, they will need to come to my DM. They'll basically have to go there. Maybe whenever they want to drop their own comments, they now see that someone has already asked this question before and then they have their answer. This is why a lot of you that come to my DM to ask some of these questions, you notice that you don't get responses, because my DM is strictly solely for business. If I make a video and you have any complaints, any issues or whatever, the comment section is your best bet, as I'll always be there to respond. That is basically that about that. I'll see you in my next video.